Welcome to the Human Factor. I'm Kimberly Diamond, and today we're talking about real challenges and real wins behind building strong teams. You're watching Now Media Television.
Welcome to the Human Factor. I'm your host, Kim Diamond. Our show explores what really drives performance and trust and growth inside organizations, and it's the people. So today's guest is someone who understands people at every level of the business, Nikita Poindexter. She is the CEO of Poindexter Consulting and nationally recognized HR and DEI expert with over 30 years of experience solving some of the toughest organizational challenges. She's known as the HR fixer. I love that. She's worked with leaders to prevent lawsuits, strengthen their culture, build workplaces defined by fairness and accountability. So, in our first segment, we're going to talk about the silent struggle that small businesses face every day. People issues. There's turnover, there's burnout, there's lack of structure, challenges. All of that can hold the growth of the organization back. People are very vital to that growth aspect. So, welcome, Nikita. I'm looking forward to our conversation today.
Well, thank you, Kimberly. Thanks for having me.
Sure, sure. So let's dive in. We see from time and time again where businesses get caught up focusing on sales and operations and the bottom line, and they underestimate the importance of the people and how they're being affected and how they're working. So why do you think that some small businesses overlook the importance of this process and HR in that growth journey?
Sure. So HR becomes the last component when you're thinking about small businesses, right? They think about, social media, marketing, advertising, how they're going to get their, products or services out. And then the people don't become an issue until they become an issue. And it's all of a sudden it's okay, now I've got this employee relations matter. What do I need to do? So instead of doing the actual opposite, because employees are your greatest asset, if you take care of the employees will take care of the business. If you don't, that's where litigation comes in. That's where challenges within the workplace comes in. That's where conflict comes in. Most small business owners really don't understand that, right? And they're such in a hurry to kind of to get the business started. They,
Mm-hmm,
don't take time in the hiring process. My philosophy to all the business owners is hire slow but fire fast. And
mm-hmm.
so they really don't understand that that's the most important piece is the people, not necessarily your products and services.
Right. And what do you think are some of the most common people problems that really can damage a business?
Communication. I think that is the core foundation of all challenges is communication. Number
Right.
one, people don't listen to understand, people listen to respond. Leaders and business owners are trying to navigate a multitude of things. And so they really don't take the time just to kind of connect with their people. So communication is the number one caveat to that. Number two, a lack of authenticity. People are not square pegs, they're going to fit in round holes. You are dealing with individuals that have feelings and emotions just like yours. And so, as a leader, you have to also, as a leader business owner, because I'm both, you cannot forget where you came from. At some point in your life, you were an employee. And so, you have to treat people the way you want to be treated because if not, if people don't feel valued, they don't feel like they're an integral part of the organization or an integral part of the team, that's where challenges come in.
Exactly. Exactly. It's very important to listen to the people. We know that coming from the recruiting side, absolutely. It's very
Absolutely.
important in the beginning. Well, then how can small business leaders build a strong culture without a big budget or big teams?
Sure. So you don't need a whole lot of people to be able to do the work, right? I mean, the core fundamentals of the positions that you have, you really need to do your due diligence. And what most leaders do or small business owners do is they have a need and they run out and try to fill it instead of really trying to sit back and uh, um, do an analysis on what specifically do I need this particular individual to do, right? Because a lot of employees can multitask, so really define what the job description is going to be. And a job description literally is just listing the duties and responsibilities. What is it that you're looking for this individual to accomplish? And then what are the skill sets that you are looking for them to do? Now, depending upon where you're located, obviously there's compliance when it comes to, pay and benefits and things like
Right.
that. But it's going to cost you more if you don't do it the right way than if you just take that time out to do that. You don't need to hire a really large recruiting firm. You don't have to, post thousands of dollars on some of the LinkedIn profiles. You literally can just put together the job description, have conversations, right? Make sure you're not asking anything illegal from a state and federal perspective, but get to know the individual that is coming on board. So take your time with that and do your due diligence before you just start hiring people. And that includes family members as well.
I agree. And a lot of times, like you said, they'll just slap together a job description and they'll barely, and then half the time they don't even really follow it, right? Or they'll overlook certain aspects, or those aspects won't come into play. And the candidates looking at that information and putting themselves into that position with respect to their experience, then they start the interview process and it's completely off the mark. So I think that you're right. It's very important that you really understand what you're looking for, and it's not
Absolutely.
just the bullet points, right, in the description. So I think that
Absolutely.
that's really key. I do struggle with that a lot of times when I'm talking to them. Like, I need to understand what you're looking for in this person. I see what you expect from an experience or qualification standpoint, but there's more to it than that. So
Absolutely.
do you have a story you can share with us about a small business that fixed its people's issues and then they thrived?
Sure. That's every day in my world. Um,
Which is great.
it is, right? And so, and I think that's the reason why I love human resources, right? Because the first word is human. You're dealing with people that
Mhm.
are just like you. And so, um, I have a particular client, and still my client today. I think they've been my client for the last, I don't know, 10, 15 years. Um, they were struggling with some internal conflict between leadership and employees. And so I said, listen, the employee and the supervisor are more alike than they are different. And so they're clashing because number one, both of them are operating out of feelings and not facts. And so as a leader, you can't operate out of feelings, you have to operate off of facts. Now, what I mean by that is you can't be guided by your feelings. Because I can't tell you that you can't feel anything. The employee had the separate situation. Well, I feel this way or the other way about whatever it is that the directive that the supervisor was giving them. So I coached them both. I said, first of all, both of you are not responsible for how the other individual feels, right? Because feelings are subjective. Your feelings may change after you have a cup of coffee. Your feelings may change after you have something to eat. So feelings are subjective. What you need to be able to do is stop sending these emails back and forth. So for the next 30 days, you're going to have old-fashioned verbal communication. Like you literally have to pick up the phone and converse with one another. It was one of the toughest things that they had to do because they didn't want to talk to each other. Fast forward
Mhm.
now, they have excellent communication. I'm not asking them to go out and be best friends and eat bonbons together. I'm saying have mutual respect within the workplace. But that dynamic shifted so drastically until not only are they working better as colleagues, they have realized that what I told them from the very beginning, that you're more similar than you are different, was actually a fact. And so now their relationship has shifted. They're working cohesively together. They are really training other individuals on how to do that. That particular employee now has been promoted into a leadership role, and so now they're practicing what they've been preaching. So it's been really good to watch that transformation.
Well, that's great. It's great you were able to help them identify that because obviously they weren't seeing it, right?
No,
So
right.
that's great. Awesome. Good job for your group. Well, then when we go back to, what's a simple practice somebody at a small business can adopt now to help their teams?
So one of the first thing that you can do is just have check-ins, right? I mean, people want
Mm-hmm.
to know how much you know. I mean, how much you
Mm-hmm.
care before how much you know. And so people spend more time with the people that they work with than the people that they live with. And
True.
so they also want to feel that they're an integral part of the organization. It's not always about pay. It's not always about benefits. Sometimes people's employment is their escape from life that sometimes can be a little challenging. So one of the
Mm-hmm.
things that I always recommend is do a 5 minute check-in with your team. Hey, how are you? How things going? Is there any challenges that you're experiencing? Is there anything that I can help you navigate through, whether it's work related or personal? Make sure you have a really good employee assistance program. And that is virtually inexpensive for business owners. It's a lot cheaper than offering health insurance. But these provide resources for individuals that may be going through things that are not work related. So check ins are the first thing that I highly recommend. Number two, make sure that you have job descriptions that are developed, because you're trying to hold employees accountable to certain things and they don't know what they're being held accountable to. So I would tell all small business owners to stop, reset, especially coming upon the new year. Reset, make sure you've done your due diligence with offer letters, job descriptions, check in with your employees, making sure that you're really understanding the style of communication that your employee has. Have team meetings, get your employees' inputs on the day to day operations of the business. You hire people to be able to help you fulfill whatever vision that you have. Let them do it, not micromanage. So, those are some key pointers that I would be able to give small business owners.
Well, that's excellent. Excellent. I absolutely agree with that. Well, we'll be right back. Up next, we're going to dive into leadership accountability and why it's hard for leaders to look into the mirror. So still stay tuned and we'll be right back.
We'll be right back with more stories, insights, and real-world strategies for leading with purpose. This is The Human Factor on Now Media Television.